Hi, it's Steffi from Steffi's Beads and Baubles, and I'm here to do an updated candy cane tutorial. I did my original one with a solid edge, and I really want to do one that shows the striped edging because this is what I sell in my beading kits that I sell online. I have all the stuff to make a candy cane, and the tutorial is how they make them. So I realized that the tutorial is not for the striped, but yet the candy cane in the kit is striped. So I decided to update it and also do a better job, because when I did the candy cane, I was new to YouTubing. Although many of you know, I still have been having trouble. So this time I'm going to try to only look in the viewfinder, keep you guys right in view, and let's see what we can do. But to make this, you're going to need your candy cane cutout. And I simply take a cookie cutter, which I have the candy cane cookie cutter, but you can buy a silver one, a plastic one, it doesn't matter. And I stamp them onto felt. Then I cut them out. And then I have my red, let me get this up where you can see it, my red metallic seed bead sequins and my white glossy sequins. And then I have my white pearlescent beads, and now I'm going to put some red glass. These are all glass beads. Seed beads are glass. Red metallic, they're silver lined. These are silver lined clear red. So they basically have a clear red glass seed bead lined with silver, which makes it sparkle. And I use the glass or the silver lined beads for a lot of my stuff. Like I use the green ones for the trees and the brown for the trunk. They're very reflective and perfect for this type of application. Then I cut a pretty good sized piece of thread, and I'm using beading thread. I highly recommend, if you can get your hands on some beading thread, it's absolutely the way to go, because it will keep it stronger. But if all you have is sewing thread, I have a lot of really old, like 50s to 70-year-old beaded ornaments, and I really don't think they sold beading thread back then. So once you stitch it together, it's pretty safe, but I know that some old threads can decay, and this stuff will not. So if you can get your hands on some, Michaels has a 4-pack, 2 black, 2 white. And then they have a couple other multi-packs that have tans and browns, maybe some pinks. And they run about $12 to $14, but you can use your coupon on them. Or you can order them online. Usually this style is about anywhere from $150 to $220 each. Depends on the store, so you can shop around. Just Google nylon beading thread. You can also buy it in giant spools, which I have every color in the giant spools, but it's just easier to use these for the videos. So you're going to pick your white sequin. This is Whitest White from Cartwright's. I believe it was a clearance item, and I bought like 20 of them just to have for my crafting projects. And then this is just a typical red metallic sequin. You can buy them Hobby Lobby, Michaels, even Walmart probably, online. They're just a metallic red, generic. They could be Hobby Lobby. I'm not really sure where I got them from, but they're just a generic red metallic, which look very nice against the white glossy. Then like a pearl and a metallic, like I said, metal lined, silver lined bead. So you're going to come up and you want to try to make a nice little edge, do the bottom. And you're going to come up to start it. You're going to come up through the bottom of the piece. Now, I worry about the knot getting pulled through, so I'll leave a pretty good space. Like there's the thread coming out, and I'll go way over here. So it lays a little bit of thread on the top, but that's okay, you'll never see it. So it just lays a little thread on top. Then I'm going to come back through to do my first sequin. And this is just to hold it on really well. So that way the thread doesn't pull through. It kind of holds that knot much better. Then you're going to pick up a sequin upside down. So in other words, on the tray, let me move it so I can show you. These are lightly cut sequins. So they are, let me see if I can show you one that lets you understand what I'm talking about. I'll show you both a metallic and a non-metallic. Sometimes it shows up a little better on the metallic. But this is a cup sequin. And I don't know if you can see, but it has little facets. So it's flat on the bottom. This one's a little more rounded. And then it has the little facets that go around the edge. Let me flip them over to show you. This one does not want to flip over. Okay? Now you want this to lay upright with the cup up. And the way you do that is you have to pick it up upside down. So I flip it over so that the cup is like this. And then I pick up that seed bead upside down. And then I pick up a seed bead. And what that does is when you pull it down the thread to your piece, because you put it on upside down, it's now right side up when you lay it down because you picked it up upside down. So, and then you're going to go back through just the sequin. And what that'll do is that will let that little seed bead, there it is, it'll let it pull and hold that sequin on. And then you're going to go do the next one. You can see some discolored threads. If you see that, felt is just, it catches on everything. And since I have all different colors in that little bag, so again, you're going to pick it up upside down, pick up a seed bead. Now I make a very long piece of thread. You do not have to do this, because at any time when you run out of thread, you simply tie it off on the back and start over, and it doesn't affect your beadwork at all. And then there, you're going to kind of shove it as close as you can to the one in front of it, and then you're going to pull it again so that that little seed bead comes through and holds it on. Then you're going to go through again okay, and you're going to pick it up. I flip them over to pick them up upside down, and then let me pull it. There we go. And then we're going to, I kind of push it in close to the one in front of it, and then go back down through, pulling that seed bead tight so that it really holds that down. And then we're going to do one more to kind of fit it in on the bottom. Now, sometimes 3 will go on the bottom, sometimes 4. It really depends. Every piece I make, if I could make 10 of those candy canes, let me tell you this, I could make 10 of them, and not one, there would be not one that would match the other. Okay, now again, I'm going to take my thumb and kind of shove it up close to this, and then I'm going to go back through like that, and we're going to pull it till that seed bead holds it down. There we go. There we go. Let's do the second row. Now when you get to the second row, you're not only pushing against the one in front next to it, you're pushing up too. So let me show you that. So let me get another seed bead, or sequin, and another seed bead. Oh, wait a minute, I gotta go through first. Got ahead of myself. Okay, you're gonna come up. And don't worry if you come up a little bit too low, because it's when you go back through that really pulls it where it needs to be. And then I'm going to pull on a sequin and a seed bead. Always making sure that sequin is upside down at first. Then I'm going to pull it, lay it down on the felt, and then take my thumb and kind of push it up. Put that needle through. And pull that thread down. Okay, now I'm going to fill this side in with the white, and then I'll start doing red. But maybe what I'll do is I'll show you a couple more so I can show you the red. Because sometimes I know it's easier. Whoops, I did it again. Okay, so sometimes I know it's easier to see somebody actually do something. So I'll just do this step a couple minutes longer. We're already 9 minutes into this video. It's just crazy. The rest of the steps should be really quick though. This is kind of the longest. Okay, Now, I'm pushing over and up so that, watch your finger because you'll stab yourself from time to time. Okay? And then again, I come up. And then add on your sequin and your seed bead. Now it looks very tiring, like this would take forever, but trust me, it really doesn't. Once you know, I'm trying to be real deliberate so you can see what I'm doing. If I'm doing this on my own, okay, so now I got it shoved up, both up and down. Now I want to kind of slightly curve this down a little bit. Here's the seed bead again, holding that tight, because on this one, the stripe slowly goes this way, and that's kind of the edging I want. It looks better when the stripe goes up from the inside out. Let me show you again on the two. See, on this one, the candy, this one's fairly straight, but then they slowly start to go this direction, which helps you with the curve. This one, some bizarre reason, from the first stripe, it started going this way, which made this way too big and just ruined the whole top of this thing. This should have been red going up. It just totally messed it up. So that's why I'm trying to push it slowly to the direction I want. The cool thing about these, okay, I picked up the seed bead and sequin again. The good thing about these is at any time you can pull out any stitches you need. Shoot, you can pull the whole thing out as long as you haven't tied a knot. Okay, I've got it tucked in and up, and then I'm going to go back down and pull it tight. There. And that's the first white stripe. Then I'm just going to go right back up and start doing red. And the red is a little bit more cupped. And if you're worried about using the white thread on the red, let me tell you, all the years I was making ornaments, for probably the first 10 years. Okay, I've got the red, I'm placing it in place, and I'm going to do the same thing. All I had was white thread. Then, oh goodness, maybe 10 years in, I found black thread, and that was really nice because I was doing a lot of Southwestern type Native American style earrings. Now I like to tuck them under, although you can tuck them up too. See, this one wants to go up. And the black, there was a lot of black in those earrings, so the black thread really served me well for that. So then we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to go right by it. We're going to pull up the sequin upside down so the cup is facing down, so that when you pull it flat, it'll turn around and be right side up. And then again, I'm just going to tuck it. Now, I want to make sure when I'm doing this that I'm slightly pulling it more up than down. I do not want the stripe, I want the stripe to go up. I want the stripe to go up this way. I don't want it to go this way. So I'm slowly trying to pull it a little bit up. It's hard to do, but you can do it. Just, you got to still keep it tucked, but you just slightly make sure as you go across the row, you go slightly up with the, here's another one. I just want to get this first row done, and then I'll come back when I've finished the front. And this one I'm going to pull in real close like this, but I'm going to slightly move it a little higher. Okay, that way I am pulling it ever so slightly so that the stripe goes in the right angle. Now these are 5, somebody asked me what size I use. I use 11/0 beads. 11/0 beads. And the sequins I use are 5mm. Almost always. Now when I'm doing some of my stacked sequins or different projects, sometimes I will use a slightly bigger sequin. But 99% of the time you can find a 5mm, because even a 6mm, hold on, this thread is so long. Even a 6mm is so much bigger than a 5, you'll be surprised. Okay, the bead's on there. And see what I'm doing is I'm slightly pulling it at an angle to start that stripe going the direction I want. It's just slight, very slight. And hopefully I did it right so that, okay, last one, and then I'm going to go finish it and then come back and show you the finished front. And if I mess it up, I'll fix it and come back with the finished front that's fixed. Because it's got to be right. It's for a friend's order, and I want it to look right. Alright. And even if it's slightly cupped, in other words, if you paint the stripe and it's slightly like this, angled like a C, kind of, that's fine, because it'll gradually get me the direction I need to go. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do 2 of each until I get up to here, and then I sometimes have to fill it in with some, I just kind of fill it in. What I do, you know what, I'll come back when I do this and show you how I do it. But I usually go across here, and then up here, and then down here, and I just fill it in. But I'll be back when I get up here and show you, I'll do the outline and show you how I fill it in. But I'll be back when I get to that point. Okay, I'm at the corner, and you can see the only place I really have to fill in is right here. And I just come up between the sequins. I grab a sequin upside down and a seed bead, throw them on there, and they'll slightly overlap the ones around. See, you can just see it slightly overlaps. Then I'm just going to go right back through, pull it tight. And then that'll fill that in. And that's how I do the corners. Now I'm going to do this one, which will be a little bit bigger, and I'll come back and show you how I finished that one. Okay, that one more shows you how I fill it in. So I get the edge done, and then I come in and I just come up, start at where the thread is, which on this is up at the top, and then I just slowly fill it in. And I'm going to get a sequin and a bead. I'm just going to put that up in the corner here. There's no right or wrong. It's just kind of like that one filled it in pretty good, but I'll still put one over here. See, and then I just put another one, and I just kind of lay them over top of each other. Uh-oh, my thread's about to come undone, and I do not want to have to rethread it. Okay. Alright, so pull it tight, and then I just need one more right in the tip there. Well, the tip of the open area, right here. And I'll come up in there. That's all I do, is I go around the edge, because I like to fill in the edge first, because sometimes when you fill it in, you don't need, well, when you go around the whole edge, you don't need to fill it in, but there's other times like this that you have one or more areas that need to be filled in. But see, when you're done, it just kind of, it looks kind of stacked up a little bit, but it looks really nice. And now I'm going to do a white one here, like that, and then there'll be a couple more stripes. So I'll be back when the whole front's finished, and then I'll show you the edge. Okay, I wanted to show you how I tie off. So this is the front, completely finished, and this is what the back looks like. And I don't know if you can see the stitches on there, but those are the stitches. And when I'm done, this is how I finish off every time, no matter what I'm tying off, whether it be the front, the edge. If I'm tying off to add a new piece of thread, I go through the felt. I make like a little, you know, I come through and grab some felt there, and I just loop around it, and I just do that 2 or 3 times. Just keep doing it. Same spot. I don't tie a knot. Then I'll go this direction 2 or 3 times, like this. Just the opposite direction that I was going, right through the old one. You know, so I go this way, and then I go this way. Kind of like making a T, a small T, a lowercase t. I could say an X, but an X is more angled. But an X works too. And then once I've gone through that way a couple times, I go back through the first way, like that. And then I cut it really close. There we go. And the front's done. So I'll be right back to show you how to stitch it together. Okay, so now I've got the back of it in place and my cotton ready to go, which I will start to stuff once I get all the way done around. Then I will gently put the cotton in before I stitch it the rest of the way. So I find that you can start anywhere, but if you are going to stuff something like a candy cane, it is better to start at the bottom and work your way around. I like to start with doing one whole color. So I'm going to start on the red, and I chose to use red thread just because I've got the red back and it won't show. So what I'm going to do is go in between the two pieces right at the tip of the red, right where the red starts. I'm going to come up underneath that sequin. Now, when you do this, I'm going to show you something. Don't come up through the sequin like this, because if you do, you will pull that needle through and the thread will lay over the top of the sequin and will not be very pretty. So make sure if you see the needle come through, pull it back out and go back up. Now once you're through, you're going to go to the pretty much the same place in the back and make a loop over both pieces of felt, kind of holding them together like that. Okay. See how it's over the top? Now you're gonna put on 3, and since I'm doing red, I'm gonna put 3 red beads on. And you always start your edging with 3. Then I'm going to go back to the back again, come through to the front, and I'm going through both pieces of felt, and I'm going to pull until those 3 beads are brought up. Now, this is where the end of it is. It's going this direction. So this is the last bead I put on. Here's the string, and I'm going this direction. So the last bead, I'm going to go back up. This is where some people have not been able to understand what I'm telling them. So I want to show you really carefully how to do this, whether you're doing a single color or a double color. Now you will notice on the back it makes a little triangle, but the first one's always going to be crooked. It just is. That's okay, you fix it at the end. Now I'm going to put 2 more on for each loop after, or for each triangle after that. So I'm going to go back in about a bead's depth, come back through those 2 sequins, and come up, kind of come up between them like that. So I'm pulling the thread so that I kind of come up between them, and then I'm going to go again. Let's see, get that last bead going the direction I'm going. Go through that last bead and pull gently. You don't want to catch on any of the sequins. I'm going to pull, and then there's my first perfect triangle. The first one's always going to be kind of wonky, so just get the second one done, and from there on in it'll look good. Then I'm still in the red, but I think I'm going to be needing 1 red and 1 white, because you got to look and see where is the next bead going to lay, the one that's going to lay on the ground. The first bead you put on is going to be this bead on top. The second bead is going to be the one you loop on. It's going to be your base bead. So is that base bead going to be in the red or the white? It's going to be in the white. So I'm going to pick up a white bead. So I've got a red bead to be the top of the triangle, and then a white bead that when I come through the bottom, come through the back again, I'm going to come, see if I can get this light to show you better. Okay, I'm going to come back through the back, just like I did every stitch. Come from the back through both pieces of felt after adding 2 beads. And I added a red for the point and a white for the base. Then I'm going to go back up that white bead, go right back up that white bead, and come through and pull that thread through, and make sure I don't hook on anything, and see that that is what anchors each one on. See? Now I'm in the white, so now I'm going to add 2 whites. And again, add 2 white beads and go back to the back of the felt, or the back of the 2 pieces, and come back through, pushing between the sequins. And then I pull it tight like this until, okay, like that. And then I'm going to go back up through the last bead going the direction I'm going. And I'm going to pull that thread. I gotta make sure not to catch on anything, and pull that tight. And we'll do it again. Okay. So again, I'm going to go through the back. You want it to be so that the 2 beads will lay side by side. So you want it fairly close together, so that you want the second bead to sit next to that bead from the stitch before. So you're going to pull that thread, and then see, okay, you got to pull it up because the first bead is going to be the point. And then see how that's going to lay. You're going to come back up through that second bead, the last bead, going the direction you're going. You're going to pull carefully. You don't want to catch on the sequins. So you're going to pull very carefully so that when you pull it tight, you've pulled that into another little little triangle. I want to do a couple more stitches because I want to show you how to change color one more time. So again, this is a wide white stripe, so I can do one more white. So come in from the back and come up under the sequin, pull, make a loop, okay, so see how it's made the triangle? And then I'm going to go back up through the last bead and make that little triangle. Now, since I'm far enough over, for this one I can put 2 reds. No two changes are going to be the same. Sometimes you'll be going totally the new color. Sometimes you'll be going totally the old color for one more stitch, or if you're transitioning, you'll be going either one of each or all the new color. Now see, I pushed that sequin out of the way, and I pushed through, and I'm going to pull it up in front of that sequin. Okay? Pulling it down first. Okay. Then I'm going to pull that thread up, and I'm going to go back up through that last sequin and pull it. This is what it looks like from the front. You just want to keep going slow because you don't want to tug on any of those sequins. And you're just going to do that, and there you go. And you're just going to keep doing this all the way around. And then when I get to about... Now the other thing I want to point out to you is when you cut out your felt, sometimes some will come out, well, they'll come out the same size, but as you stitch it, it tends to pull the felt in, and you might find you have big old empty spaces like that. So when I get to about right here, I'm going to trim that ever so slightly. so that it fits better. Now I'm not so worried about that little edge there, because that is fine. When you stuff it, in fact, I won't cut it right to the edge. I'll leave a little bit of felt there, because when you stitch it, when you stuff it, it pulls it out a little bit, and that extra will be nice to pull it in. And same down here. When I get to the bottom, I may need to trim a little of that off too. So I'll come back when I get to about here, show you if I have to trim any off, and then we'll stuff it before we continue going around. So I will be back when I get to the end of the side there, before I go around the turn. So when I get to here, I'll be back. Okay, I've got it sewn to there, and I ran out of thread, and I looped it like I showed you right here. I looped it, looped it, looped it. Let me get this light right over the, see if I can get this light right over the beadwork. I looped it like I did on that other spot I showed you on the inside. Now to start the thread over, I'm simply going to go through that knot like this. I'm going to catch on that knot and go through it, and let the other knot catch on there. Now you can go on the inside as well if you want, but sometimes it's a little tight, so I tend to put the knot on the outside, and then I just kind of come around it. But if you want to go in and tuck the knot on the inside, you can do that as well. But I just go around it once just to secure it and kind of get that knot tied in like that. Then I come up through the last bead that I made, just as if I was doing it without stopping. And then I come back up through, and now I've got to just stuff it. So I'm going to take this cotton, and this is the kind of cotton you find in medicine bottles and mostly for us it's vitamin Bibles. Do you remember the book The Vitamin Bible? I always say that. My husband laughs at me. Vitamin bottles. I like this cotton so much because it's very easy to tear, and it's already really straight. So especially for the candy canes, you can't beat it. You can use cotton balls, absolutely. This is just easier to shred and move around. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here. I'm going to get that cotton where I want it. And I simply take my scissors, honestly. And I tuck that in and figure it's going to, you know, kind of go to there. And then I just slowly tuck it in. And it's kind of a pain. You can do it before you stitch it together as well. So I mean, you don't have to wait until you're to this point. You could actually just layer it, but I find it's just easier to get it sewn. Then you just kind of just tuck it and take something sharp. You could take a chopstick, a knitting needle. I use the end of the scissors. We're just careful. And then you get it all tucked in, and then you're just going to finish edging. Now you might get a few little cotton pieces, and when you're done stitching it, you can pull those few loose fibers out. But I'm going to finish stitching it, and when I come back, oh, and by the way, I didn't end up having to clip anything off, because as I came around it, it just seemed to pull it out, and so far I didn't have to trim any felt. So it worked out really well. I thought I was going to have to, but I did not. When I get to the end and I'm done, I'll show you how I do the last stitch to fix where it's crooked, and then I'll come back and show you how to loop it. So I'll be back when I get to the last stitch. Okay, so I'm down to my last stitch, and you can see on here I've got, this is my last stitch I just did. There is the very first stitch I did. We just got to close the gap. So we're going to take one bead, and I'm going to go with a red bead, and we're going to take that red bead and we're going to go through from the last stitch we just did. We're going to go through that first stitch. Okay, so we're going to take the needle and we're going to drag that stitch around, and we're going to put the needle through it like that. And then we're going to pull the needle through so that one bead makes the last little triangle for the whole thing. Then we're just going to do the little circle stitch where you go around a few times. and just cut it off. Now, I don't ever do it, but if you see me doing this, it makes you nervous and you'd like to touch a drop of fabric glue on there, I've never done it, but you absolutely could. Okay, I'm going to rethread my needle and I'll be back to show you the loop, how you do the loop. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do the loop. So we're going to turn it to the back, and I do a double thread only for the loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up somewhat in the middle, and you can take your needle and just kind of put it through the beads and see how you like how it hangs. You're going to get little cotton ball threads coming out for a few minutes. Pretty much any spot is going to work, and you're just going to pick where you want to come up, and you're going to come up, you're going to go down into the felt because you want to have some felt. Now, the kits have white in them. I don't know why I did white, not red. I may change the listing to offer either a red or white loop. So I will probably change the listing and give people the option. But for now, for now though, it's going to stay white because I just don't have time to go in there and redo it. But you're going to come out, you're going to go into the felt, and then you're going to come out through a bottom bead, the base beads, not the little top bead. You're going to come out through one of the base beads. Now I kind of like it to be back a little further, so let me try it again. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to come out through a bead. So see how the needle is right through the bead. Come out through that bead, and then I'm going to make sure it's through the bead, and it is. I'm going to put on 6 inches of beads, which you can just lay a ruler down. Now if you have the kit, it has exactly the beads you need. But you can lay a ruler down and just bead to get to 6 inches, which will flip around and make it a 3-inch loop. So I'll be right back, and all you're going to do is you're just going to, I've gone through and you're just going to simply, I mean, it doesn't get any easier than this. You're just going to pick up beads and string them on, just like this. You only have to go through them one time. It's not like Native American earrings where you have to go through beads more than once. You're just going to string them on till you have a 6-inch string, unless you want it longer or shorter. Once you have your 6 inches, then I'm going to show you, I'll be right back to show you what you do. So I'll be right back once I have all 6 inches of beads on the string. Okay, I'm back. I don't know if you can see, I'm going to lift this up so you can see, but basically I put a small ruler there, measured out right about, it's probably slightly over 6 inches of beads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and go to the next bead over. And when we're doing our stitches, if you remember, there's a base bead, an upper bead, and then another base bead. So we're going to skip over the top of the little triangle and go back down the other bead. And I'm going to kind of go in toward the knot. You don't have to, but I'm going to kind of try to do that so that I can go right over there and really knot it well. Okay, and that's all you're going to do. And then you're going to do your circle. Now you can do red thread, you can do a red loop. The kits have white thread, and I think for next year I'm going to offer the choice. I'm also going to try to offer a couple, oh sorry, I'm out of frame again. I'm going to try to offer a few different colors, but for this year we're just going to stick with the classic red and the white loop. But next year I'm going to try to offer a few other kits, like a Christmas tree, a stocking, and a few other. I wanted to do gingerbread, but they're just entirely too much work, I think, to create a kit out of. We will see though, but at least a tree and a stocking, and we'll see what else I can do. But anyway, I kind of go around that knot, and that should secure it. And like I said, you are perfectly welcome to put a little bit of glue on it. I never have though, and I've never had one come undone. That's it, and you're done. And there is your candy cane. Now this one is for a friend that did an order, so this is her candy cane. I do sell the kits. I just relisted them. in my Etsy shop, which is listed below. And this is the instruction video for that kit, so that if you buy a kit, you watch these instructions, and then you just adjust how these are tucked till you get it to where you really like it. You can do some out, some in. I just kind of twist and turn them until I really like how they lay. But you can see I did another one, and no two are alike. And this is a red one this is one with a red edge, and you can see it's slightly different. Each one's a little different. And I have yet another candy cane video I'm planning on doing that's completely different than these. So I'm looking forward to doing that one too. Anyway, I thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And you don't need the kit to make this. You can just use all the basic supplies: white and red sequins, white and red seed beads, and red, white felt, or whatever colors. I have done these candy canes in silver and white, pink and white, blue and white. I've actually done one in red, or not red, green and blue, because that's one of my favorite colors combinations. You can do them any color combination you want. Red and white's usually the one I do, and I've even done this one with a green edge, which is really pretty as well. And I've also done green and white with a red edge. So really, the amount of variations you can do on these candy canes is amazing. But I'm going to do one more version of the candy cane after I do a couple other videos. But thank you so much for watching. I will be back very soon. I hope all of you are having a wonderful holiday season. And I will be back with another ornament video very quickly. I've got one I'm very excited to do, and I'm hoping to have that up in the next couple days. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Bye.